The one driving point that I want everybody to get, to sort of walk home, you know, my dedication is always like, what will you talk about on the drive home? And I want them to get, the simplest thing is this, that it is the least selfish thing you can do is work on you. If you really want to serve, then work on yourself first so that what you're serving is clean, it's pure, rather than serving the stuff you need to deal with. I would describe servant leadership as from a point of what it's not and what it is, if I may. So I think there are a lot of times that people look at it and want to put it into certain categories that are somewhat limiting. So people see it as a very Christian thing, but I think you could be a Buddhist, I think you could be a Muslim or a Jew or anything else, or agnostic for that matter, and still be dedicated to servant leadership. That's first of all. And servant leadership implies that you're serving, and that's appropriate, but from my point of view, it's more about where you're serving from. And we tend to, even servant leadership can become egoic. We can become serving from a place of ego, from being right, from this is the way, this is the only way, as opposed to serving from a place of compassion and empathy and what I call deep greatness, that part of us that is always laid there, has been dormant, waiting to express. And it is that part that, it's interesting because it feels egoic to even go there. It feels like, oh, I'm being an egomaniac to even consider that I'm made for greater things than this. But you are here to serve the world, and you can't do that while you're playing small. One of the things that I'll tell people when they hit a roadblock is the only way out is through. The simplicity of it is that you have to decide if this is important enough for you. We do a lot of work with, as you know, I work with leaders of organizations and athletes and a whole range. And one of the things about being great is there's something greater. So when you hit that roadblock, the question is, how important is it to you? See, we have this idea of you need discipline, but discipline is a lie. There's no such thing. There's only what you make important. So if you make it important enough, and to make something important, you have to have good enough reasons. The alcoholic gives up usually because they're destroying their family. It's not good enough that they're destroying themselves, they're destroying their family. So you've got to make something, you've got to find something that has such deep, powerful meaning for you that says, you know what, this is dark, this is painful, this is hard, but on the other side is this. And you've got to know what that is, otherwise it can get very easily lost in the darkness. One of the great highlights for me was, of course, all the speakers were phenomenal. This is a great event and I highly recommend it to anybody. What I loved about it was the way that this common thread that went through, which is turning the hierarchy upside down. That I'm not supposed to be on my own at the top, I'm at the bottom serving everybody else. And I just think that that is profoundly simple and easy to dismiss of, well, you can't run a company like that, or to say, oh yeah, no. Can you do it? Because this particular conference is not just about servant leadership, it's how do you drive that? So what is the action you are going to take in order to serve? That's for me is more important. And every speaker was bringing that around, whether they were speaking about it in the context of leadership in a corporation or leadership as an individual. So that for me was, I love that glue. The final thing I would like to say is that you were born whole, complete, and miraculous. There was never anything missing. Sure, other stuff may have got piled on. And your job is not to add more, but to take away all that is false. And when you do that, you'll find out how you can truly serve. You are a gift from the universe. And when you know that and you peel back everything else, you become a gift to everybody on the planet.